Hello, I'm Cassandra Joan Butler. I'm an astrologer and a teacher, and I love to share my passion, astrology for healing. If you like this video and would like to be notified for new videos in 2021 and beyond, please subscribe and ring the bell. Friends, we are in a healing crisis. And as we move forward in 2021, I want to share with you some suggestions on how to go forward with grace and authority with this new energy for 2021. So here's our new moon. The new moon took place on January 13th. I call it the new moon with the boom. The boom is the new moon that's conjunct our friend Pluto right here. Moon and sun and Pluto all together. Now, Pluto is arguably the most powerful of the solar system's immediate planets. Why? Because Pluto represents Dr. transformation through death, intensity, power, manipulation, and control. So when Pluto is encompassing and connecting with the new moon, we know that the next month ahead is going to be a powerful one. It's going to be a transformative one. Now, this new moon is what's called trining Vesta and trining Black Moon Lilith. It's a grand trine in the element of Earth. What's a trine? Trine is when three bodies, I'm including the asteroids too, not just the planets, are forming a triangle in a particular element, air, fire, earth, or water. So this is an Earth. Earth is like a magnifier. It's like a manifester. And we're manifesting the transformation of spirituality and the uncovering of Black Moon Lilith, which is often the maverick or the sneaky energy of that which is dark, unusual, and hidden. So this new moon in Earth is saying the underbelly of secrets might be manifesting and released and revealed over the next 4 weeks. The other thing that's very important about this new moon is that Chiron, which is the wounded healer, is sextiling or forming a very supportive angle, 60-degree supportive angle to Jupiter, which means abundance. So all of us are getting to this place of wanting to heal our lives from the election in the United States of America, to heal our lives from the COVID crisis, perhaps literally healing our lives from COVID. So this is a very powerful enough is enough energy with this new moon that started on January 13th at midnight, that's Eastern Standard Time, and going forward and affecting the next 4 weeks. Enough is enough. I've heard many clients and friends say that this very week. I'm fed up with everything. I don't want to read another article about COVID or the elections. I want to get my life back. Enough is enough. These two pictorials, these two images represents that boom in the new moon of Pluto. Pluto remembers Dr. Death, and I love this picture. It really is an image that depends on your framing, right? Is this a woman wearing a hat or is it a skull? Remember, Pluto's the energy of transformation, often through death and rebirth. What's more evocative of Pluto than a volcano? But of course, a volcano with all of its fire and brimstone, when the ash cools, we have a new landscape, a new transformed way of looking at things, and very often more fertile earth around the volcano. Now, when we talk about healing, we always want to talk about Chiron. And again, Chiron is exactly sextiling Jupiter. Jupiter is like the archetype of abundance, Santa Claus, expansion, possibilities. Chiron is the asteroid which represents the greatest wound. It's been in the sign of Aries since 2018. And as it sextiles Jupiter, that's affording us new opportunities to heal mind, body, and spirit. I love this this quote. The term wounded healer means that some people have gone through to the depths of difficulties, and I think we all have. and challenges in order to be strengthened. And when they emerge, they become beings of power. Capricorn energy, Capricorn new moon. What's Capricorn? Capricorn in your chart is where you find power, achievement, and structure. It's also the 4 R's. Where you find Capricorn is where you entirely, without let up, are responsible, respectful, reliable, and you want to develop a sense of relevancy. Capricorn is the sign of discipline and hard work. It's the energy of the authority. And so that's one of the reasons why in 2020, the authorities redesigned the structure on this planet in so many ways, triggered, of course, by COVID. Authority is a word that in its roots means that you're stepping into your authority during the Capricorn cycle because you're going to become an author of your own life. Capricorn's other archetypal image is that of the mountain, the pinnacle, the boss. Where are you bossy in your chart? You'll find Capricorn there. So on this new moon, it triggers what was happening in the Capricorn lineup of 2020. Now, me and other astrologers across the world were very excited to experience 2020, the year of transformation. We weren't quite clear how we would all be transformed, but I know personally myself and many of my astrological colleagues went aboard a ship. We did a healing cruise in January of 2020. So while this lineup was taking place, we were enjoying, relaxing, and sharing all sorts of healing tools with our participants on this onboard workshop. Not knowing what about is going on with this COVID-19. But back at that time, 1 year ago, January of 2020, we had this lineup and there was a Sabian symbol. Let me explain briefly what a Sabian symbol is. It's a word picture that was developed by a medium, Elsie Wheeler, and a, amazing astrologer of the 20th century, Mark Edmund Jones, who was also a minister and an author and a leader of the Sabian movement, basically. Along with Dane Rudhyar, they got together. Well, first it was Mark and Elsie. They meditated in San Diego in the early 19th century, and they came up with channeled word pictures for each one of the 360 degrees on the wheel that creates the mandala of the astrological chart. So there's 360 word pictures, 360 Sabian symbols. So the one that was being activated in 2020 is this one, the word picture of a soldier receives 2 awards for bravery. So I would ask you, friends, what are the 2 achievements that you deservedly should be recognized for from 2020? Also, what has died in your life? Because we had the death energy next to Saturn at that time. We already took a look at that image. What died in your life? What was extinguished or expelled in your life in 2020 in order for you to make room for your true priority? It's also, we're going to talk about this, time to say goodbye to the 5 pernicious emotions. Pernicious emotions meaning evil. From traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, these are the emotions of fear, anxiety, grief, anger, and worry. I think it's fair to say that pretty much everyone on the planet had a bit of these emotions in 2020. So where are you wanting to congratulate yourself for job well done? That was in 2020, but that degree was also being activated in 2021 on January 13th. You see, there's a continuation of the story. It began in January 2020, and then the new moon is at roughly the same degree, but adding another degree. It's actually a 23, 24. I hope I didn't lose anybody. So every number has a degree. So what we're dealing with in 2021 is a completion of the award of a soldier having weathered through challenges. And then we're moving towards this degree, which is called the woman entering a convent. So what we're doing in 2021, we have gone through the challenges. And now the Sabian symbols are reminding us that in 2021, Go within. Be like a woman going inside a convent. Go inside your spiritual self. Remember, Capricorn is all about responsibility, and responsibility starts at home. And it has been a lonely journey, a lonely road. This new moon is asking us to connect with your inner guidance and truth, kind of like the Hermit card in the tarot deck. It's about connecting with your inner light, taking the light from the God of your understanding and placing it firmly in front of you to illuminate your path. In Capricorn, as with any sign, there's also a polarity. So the polarity of Capricorn is Cancer. Cancer rules home, security, safety, mothering, nurturing. So we're trying to balance with this new moon on the 13th of January, 2021, with how do we feel safe? Where's my home, and how can I mother myself? How can I mother and support other people? I love this picture of the mountain goat, right? This embodies the absolute diligence and perseverance of where you find Capricorn in your chart. Alrighty, so back to the new moon. It's been a little stressful, not just because it's Capricorn, not just because it's conjunct Pluto, the boom, but also because, friends, we have this little configuration that we're all dealing with, and I call it the mental, emotional stress of overwhelm. Here's Neptune. Neptune is the planet associated with intuition, psychic abilities, and yes, confusion. And Neptune's exactly at 18 degrees. It is forming an angle of a square to the north and south nodes. The nodes are emotional components of portals of the emotional gestalt of a particular era. So right now, since May of 2020, we've been in the era of information, truth finding, truth seeking, and mental stress and cognitive dissonance. And our Neptune squaring this area, a square is a tense aspect, and forming a tense aspect of a grand mutable square. That's what it's called in astrology, a square, an actual square. So where to go with this? We have been overwhelmed with contradictory information. In our hearts, we know some of the things we've been hearing from mainstream news or independent news and everything in between. And the clutter and the clatter and the emotion associated with what's real, what's not, causes stress. Believe it or not, guys, we don't know what to believe. It's called the Great Mutable Square. That's happening with this new moon, second week of January of 2021. But there is clarity in sight, my friends. Where is that clarity coming from? The clarity is coming from Uranus. Uranus went direct on Thursday, the 14th of January at the 6th degree of Taurus. Okay, so what? What's about this Uranus? Uranus is the conveyor of enlightenment and energy and outside the box, unexpected energy, by the way, about making connections on the outer planes, different dimensions. Uranus going direct is like a zap. So we're getting a boom from Pluto conjunct the new moon, or we're getting a zap from Uranus going direct. Find where 6 degrees of Taurus falls in your chart. Wow, this Uranus stationed at 3:36 in the morning on the 14th of January. And as it went direct, remember planets are either retrograde or they're going direct. If they're going direct, it's like a download of everything that's been tied up since August of 15 of 2020. So ask yourself, what unusual, exciting, enlightenment ideas have you been harboring since the middle of August of 2020, which you haven't been able to express, maybe perhaps because of COVID or God knows why. Well, now this particular week, you're saying enough is enough. I want to get that stuff out. I want to allow my genius, my creative spark of unusual individuality to go into the marketplace, or maybe even go into my own home or my own community. I want to be authentic and real and individualistic And Uranus moving forward is doing that for us. It's helping to convey these energies. Uranus is the madcap professor who can't find his glasses, who's brilliant, but a little odd. So let your inner oddness shine this week and going forward, friends. You've been repressing it and keeping it under wraps since the 15th of August. So as Uranus stations, wherever you have 6 degrees of fixed in your chart, fixed signs, as a reminder, is Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius around the 6 degrees. You are now downloading new ideas from the universe, liberating ideas, enlightening ideas, independent ideas. Viva la independence of ideas and expressions. Even out there ideas, which are, beyond the pale. So many ideas that are so out there, they might even be off planet, like these ideas. The CIA, congruent with Uranus going direct, released its entire collection of UFO-related documents to truth-seeking websites. It's called the Black Vault, and it's documents that cover everything from the mysterious Russian explosions to top government officials being hand-delivered UFO intel. Oh my! If you are a UFO enthusiast, this is a red letter week for you. And here you go. There's the site, www.space.com, CIA declassification. Back to manifesting. So I've been doing manifestation with the moons for about 25 years. I would invite you to perhaps consider joining my Lunar Lights Club, where I walk you through the 8 phases of the moon each and every month, and you provide you with videos and personalized written tools. That's my little commercial. Well, anyway, for all of you, back to manifestation. Where you find that 23 degrees of Capricorn, you can create a new template in your chart, in your life. Remember, in 2021, it's the woman entering a convent. Neptune, meanwhile, is opposite Vesta. What's Neptune? Spirituality. Sometimes confusion. God's heart, compassion, universal love. What's Vesta? Vesta is the asteroid of doing spiritual work, your spiritual practices. It's one thing to believe in the divine. It's another thing to do the spiritual practice of perhaps chanting or praying or meditating. So they're talking to each other in the sky. This is a very important month, please, to connect with your inner spiritual self, especially because when we get to the first major square with this cycle, which is on Inauguration Day, we have another boom. That is the degree of 1 Taurus, and 1 Taurus, which is our first quarter square. There's the moon squaring the sun at 1 degree. That degree is an electrical storm, my friends. So the quarter cycle is an electrical storm. It's a storm. Meanwhile, we've got Uranus conjunct Mars conjunct Black Moon Lilith. Remember, we met Black Moon Lilith a little while ago. That's the energy of secrets, shadows. Secrets and shadows are conjoined with Mars, which can be violence, anger, aggression, which is conjunct or next to Uranus, which means unpredictable, unusual, and like mind-blowing information. This is all on that day. And it goes through the next week. The Sabian symbol of that 6 degrees of Taurus, I love this one. The woman of Samaria at the well. Do you know that story from the New Testament? Again, this is a Sabian symbol. I'm not giving you a Bible lesson, but the Sabian symbols often they borrow from all sorts of cultural, iconic truth. This is the story when Jesus met this woman at the well, and he touched her, and he healed her. So my sense is we're having some amazingly difficult energy conjoining on Inauguration Day, but the Sabian symbol is one of healing, touching the untouchables. That's what the story is about. You know, the Samaritan and the minister of Jesus the Christ coming together and blending and healing oppositional forces. And in our own lives, I've certainly picked this up from so many of my friends and clients, and I'm seeing it in society. There is more divisive, polarizing rhetoric out there that needs to be squelched and healed. This happens on this day. It begins to happen. Full moon illumination takes place on the 28th of January. We set our intentions way back when for the next week until Inauguration Day, until the 20th. But then on the 28th, we get to see in the dark. That's what a full moon is. 9 degrees of Leo. The Sabian symbol is early morning dew sparkles as sunlight fills the world. We've got some very lovely aspects here. Moon is trining Chiron. The moon is telling Chiron to emotionally reveal ways for doing universal healing. Sun is conjunct Jupiter. Wow, that's optimism. Venus is conjunct Pluto. What really matters to each and every one of us is being revealed by this full moon. Intense, intense, intense. Last quarter of the moon, that's the release time. That takes place on February 4th, and that lasts for about a week. This last quarter, when the moon is losing light, is asking us to release and let go. All right. Now, the Sabian symbol of the moon is 16 degrees of Scorpio. That's a woman fecundated by her own spirit, is great with child. It's kind of like the virgin birth, isn't it? What that means for each of us, go within, create your own spirit and rebirth yourself, working to finalize the new creative impulse. So what's about this cycle? It's kind of a religious, spiritual in its narrative, isn't it? We start with a nun going inside the convent. We end with a pregnant woman by her own spirit. And in between, we have an electrical storm on Inauguration Day, then sparkly sunlight. All the while, all throughout this next month, Vesta, spiritual practice, and Neptune, spiritual psychic intuition, are talking to each other in an opposition, balancing those two. Back to the healing. All of 2020, we've had this tension between the individual, me, myself, and I, and his or her role against the backdrop of society. What we've had continually through 2020 is a square, tension, 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 between society, which is Capricorn, and the individual, which is Aries. So my suggestion this next month, tap into the essential core of who you are for healing and to connect with the God of your understanding. You got to find that you can find a balance between what's going on out there. Oh my gosh, so much stress. And in there, the hermit, going within, finding peace. We know that the pernicious emotions can harm you. I'm just gonna do a quick little exercise with you right now. Those emotions, those pernicious emotions, anger, grief, worry, stresses, and fear, stresses your kidneys, your heart, your brain, your stomach, and your liver. It's a little graph on the richness. I'm also a TCM practitioner. I combine a lot of healing techniques with the astrology. So I just give you the slides, you can reflect upon it. If you're having problems with liver, heart, stomach, spleen, lungs, or kidney, these corresponds this with likewise times of the year and emotions and tissues, even tastes, and actually times of the day as well. But that's a whole other thing. So here is some diagram of the acupressure points, also the same points as acupuncture. And I'm going to show you a quick little healing yourself through your hands. Okay, let's go back to the diagram. We have something called conception vessel and something called governing vessel in our bodies. Conception vessel flows from this area on our bodies and goes up, up, up to the lower lip. This is a little exercise of breathing and working with TCM. Then we have the governing vessel, which starts here along the tailbone and goes up, 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 up over the head and aligns with the upper lip. So my friends, visualize, if you would, line coming up to your front, coming back up here and joining on the upper lip and bottom lip. Visualize a golden silver light of these lined meridians, and breathe with me for a moment. Nice deep breath, and hold the breath and exhale. Anger. Visualize those beautiful lines coming up, 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 and around. Inhale deeply, exhale out, worry. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, exhale out, fear. Breathing in, breathing out. Exhale out, anxiety. Breathing in, breathing out. Exhale out, fear, anxiety, worry, anger, and grief. All of them. Good. Place one hand now on your solar plexus, right by your umbilicus or belly button. Place another hand on top of your crown chakra and breathe in and out. And flip. It's helpful if you close your eyes, but I want to make sure that you're still there. And when you do your meditation, or when you do your prayer work, or your yoga work, your Tai Chi work, or your walking, whatever you do to help connect with spirit, the God of your understanding, do this simple exercise in the next 4 weeks. It keeps you aligned, because these particular energies that I'm speaking of are very much connected with what we call the cardinal signs: Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. And we're under the Capricorn new moon. All right, dear friends, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more healing through the new moons going forward. And I certainly wish you a productive and healing new moon in Capricorn. And visit me on my website. Visit me on Facebook, and wishing you a very holy, sacred new year.